Hi everybody, I am at the Flower Tree Cut Flower Farm in Somerset. I've come to have a look at the amazing array of British grown cut flowers who are really paving the way in terms of a more sustainable approach for florists and wedding florists alike. And I'm going to paint some of the flowers, so I'm going to show you around. Flower farms are largely open to the public and are a brilliant place for a lovely day out to come and pick your own and maybe even come and paint. These roses are absolutely amazing. Okay, so this is Georgina from River Garden Flowers, and Georgina, tell me about what you do and where you from.
So, I am a flower farmer and I grow cut flowers for the British flower wedding industry predominantly. And we've got some...
What have we got here then?
So these are Icelandic poppies.
They're amazing.
So, a beautifocal flower, verbascum.
Bascom. Wow, they're amazing. I've never seen those before.
Aren't they amazing?
So pretty. Lovely. And then
Nigella.
Nigella flowers. Oh my goodness.
In every different blue and white going.
Now, is a Nigella flower where you get the Nigella seeds from?
Yeah.
Ah, amazing. I'm not normally very good with the flower knowledge.
Yep, perfect. So yeah.
So we're going to paint these today. Hi everybody, Crumble and I are just here. He's obviously really wants to hear about the videos this week. So I went all the way to that flower farm, saw so many gorgeous flowers and forgot to actually film my proper intros for the YouTube tutorials. So today I can finally say we are painting some lovely Icelandic poppies. So grab your paints and let's get started. Here we have my lovely Icelandic poppies in 3 different variety of colour. And what I really wanted to show you was the underside, how that amazing fluorescent greeny yellow sort of bleeds out from behind. We can't see a huge amount of it in the front because it's covered by the sepals and filaments. But we're going to do a rather nice sort of loose approach to this today. So let's mix up some colours first. I need to just wake up Cadmium Red, Cadmium Orange, Buff Titanium, Lemon Yellow, and some pinks as well to get some of these peachy tones. So if I move my paper out the way, just bring the palette down. So I think Buff Titanium is going to be a fantastic base, and to be honest only needs the tiniest bit, and that's almost too much, of pink and orange to create one of the lovely colours. And I think the Buff Titanium on its own works nicely, and then for the more bright orange one, some Cadmium Orange with just a hint, I want a hint of red and a hint of pink, just to make it just that little bit brighter. Those are fantastic. So we've got our mixes and we'll start doing some painting. So I want to create a sort of loose watercolour landscape of poppies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sort of loose watercolour blended scape. So I've made a sort of frilly edged flower, and then I'm just going to leave it whilst I do another one. a bit easier to see this one. So I'm using a size 8 brush, and I'm sort of feathering the edges by just squishing the brush down and creating a rather uneven shape, and just filling in the middle there. And the one other colour I hadn't mentioned is green gold, because I think that's going to be a really fantastic colour to get our greeny yellow tone. So if I mix a bit of that with some lemon yellow, that's great, really nice. So if I just place a few dabs in the middle there, and a few dabs in the middle there as well, we're going to start seeing our poppies. I'll do one of the pinkier ones. Now this time I am going to paint a poppy that overlaps into the next one. So just very lightly bleeds into the other one. Dab in the middle there. You don't need to dab too much because you can see how far out it travels. So the plain buff titanium one, let's do a little one here. This is quite nice if you're just feeling a little bit sort of tired or under the weather, as I am today. I'm a little bit snuffly, I've got a bit of hay fever. It's just sometimes fun to put paint to paper and just create something really relaxing and therapeutic. Now you could leave the middle fairly like unpainted if you wanted, if you were worried about your colours sort of going a bit muddy. But trust me, if you're just dabbing it in, it'll be fine. Right, I'm now going to take a size 0 brush, and I'm going to take the slightly more sort of concentrated versions of these colours and start to turn these blobs into slightly more sort of recognisable Icelandic poppies. So we're going to take this lovely orange and we're going to turn one of these into a gorgeous flower, but not by doing like too much. So what I want to do, I've got a size 0 brush here, and I'm just going to sort of scribble a few lines from the outer edges, making sure you're going into the centre. That's the most important thing. If you feel like you've got too much on your brush, just wipe it off. Get a little bit more water on it. And you don't even really need to sort of define which petal is which. This is just more about creating a lovely sense of the petal ripples. Now when you come to a sort of overlap like this, it's sort of up to you really which flower you feel is you want to sort of define a little bit more. For me, I'm just going to just sort of place in a few lines like that. I feel like because it's got more of the stronger colour, I'm going to focus more on this one. And then we can do that with our paler colours too. Just a slightly sort of concentrated version coming from the outside into the centre and sort of fading off. So those look really nice, and it sort of just naturally fell into a sort of bit in front and behind. And I've got my poppy back, and this time I want you to have a look at the centre. So we've got this amazing ruffled collar of filaments and anthers, and then we've got this centre which is sort of a green seed head with a yellow sort of spider on top of it. So cadmium yellow is a really good colour for sort of holding its own over the top of other colours, and so there's a reason why we haven't used it yet, so it can really stand out on top. So what I'm going to do is for the open face flowers, I'm going to create this little star and then create this sort of clustered halo of dots around the edge, and I'm doing it all with my size 0 brush, and it's just a whole clump of dots, just scattering them down. You can always add a few afterwards if you've gone a bit awry off in one direction or not. And then I think it would be good to get the rigger brush, which is a lovely slender long bristled brush which you can get your hands on in my Etsy shop. And I'm actually going to use some of the green gold mix first, and going to just go from the centre out to our various dots with quite a dilute amount of colour on the brush, doing it quite fast, trying not to be too precious about it. Let's do one round with that, and then I will get some cadmium yellow coated on it and do a second layer. It's so nice to have the real thing in front of you. It just means you can study it, have a really close look, and just be reminded of what it is you're trying to paint. So this is starting to really take shape. So whilst we just wait for those to dry, we're going to add in some stems. So I'm going to add some sap green to my green gold. And with my size 0 brush, just add in some they're quite broad stems. They're also very wiggly. I quite like the idea of them coming up off the page. So just be careful when you're going around the edges to really make sure you're painting them in the right place. To finish off, we're just going to create a bit more of the centre. So I'm going to come in with some sap green just around that middle and create the seed head. And then get a little bit of Paynes grey, just mix it into my little green gold mix here. Just have one or two little dashes, and then one or two little sort of curved, shadowy undersides. And there you have your finished poppy. So let's finish off the rest in that style. So to finish off, I'm just taking a little bit more of that shadow and just popping in a little bit just underneath the stems. Just where they're coming from under the flowers. And after sort of starting with a very loose base, just goes to show by building up layers of detail, you can take your flowers from literally blobs of watercolour into recognisable, lovely, detailed flowers. So there you are. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. It's so nice to be painting with the real thing. And I will see you again next time. Bye!